Despite warming relations between the United States and Cuba, one thing remains frozen: internet speed. CCTV's Nathan King spoke with one Cuban blogger who hopes that situation will soon change.
Harold Cardenas Lema, like the majority of Cubans, doesn't have the internet in his home. What makes this remarkable, that he's also one of the most famous bloggers in Cuba.
Internet in Cuba is very, very hard.
It's awful.
It's very awful, and we're very hopeful that that changes very soon.
The blog he created, La Joven Cuba, or Young Cuba, made headlines in 2012 when Cuban officials shut it down. But then it reopened after Cuba's top leadership officially backed the project.
And it was a big fight for a couple of months, but I think it was good to the Cuban blogosphere, because at the end, the government, the intellectuality of the country, the people acknowledged and recognized that it was good. It was good that we could blog and that young people did it.
La Joven Cuba's mission is to connect the world to Cuba and young Cubans to the world, not dominated by the politics of the Cold War, which ended just as Harold was born.
Many of my friends that are also bloggers, they don't write about politics at all. They write about culture, about food, they write about poetry. There's a whole country that people doesn't know because politics have been in the middle of that, have been on the way of that. And it's time for Cuba to be known in the world.
Young Cuba is now part of a flourishing web scene, which is providing an alternative to official media sources for Cubans hungry for all things internet. They believe Young Cuba and sites like it are a breath of fresh air. But if broadband connections come to Cuba, will these high-minded blogs continue amid likely competition? Harold has high hopes.
First, we don't take internet for granted. It's very expensive, it's very slow, so you have to make the best of it. And the second thing, this is a country with a very high education.
But widespread internet access is still a long way off, and Harold knows when it comes to Cuba and telecommunications, it's one step at a time. Nathan King, CCTV, Havana.